Man, y'all know the face, y'all know the name. Y'all tuned into the world's greatest podcast, Talk Ain't Cheap. I don't say this shit because it sounds wavy. I don't say it because I'm in the Bronx. I don't say it because I'm arrogant. I say it because I honestly believe it. Yo, you can take my phone, bro. Take my phone off.
I got you with the...
No, that don't work. I told you it's not plugged in. I got you.
Which one? Oh,
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
this man fucking up my whole vibe, but it's okay. when you hear who this person is, you would expect it. If you're a part of Now Four and all of them vibes, see, I'm not even going to introduce this, man. Thank you for tuning into the best podcast. First of all, we've been rocking for a while now. I think we got a good group of people who fucking with the vibes. I appreciate it. Y'all been through a lot. Y'all know who I am by now. Y'all know what kind of time I'm on. That's why I'm butter and I'm not everything else that they want me to be. Because with butter, there's only so much things in butter. Butter is like some dairy product and pressure. Girl, I'm giving you pressure and I'm bringing you the cream. Come on now. That's not butter, then I don't know what it is. But I'm with my bro. I'm going to let him introduce himself because I don't introduce people. I feel like when I introduce people, I shortchange them. So I'm going to allow him to do it.
Yo, it's Sean Marcano. I'm a designer, brand strategist. I'm founding my own agency. Marked up agency. Been doing this for more than 10 years.
Chill out. You only like 15. You like 25. That mean at 15 you was getting money.
Young entrepreneur.
You telling me since 15 you was getting money. Come on, don't tell everybody that.
International, national clients. I was out there. I was doing my thing.
15?
Since I was young. Real young.
You official tissue.
Know that.
That's crazy.
Know that.
Man, how long have I known you now? Because I think... our relationship is very interesting. Shout out to everything Aybar. Linda Aybar. We at Parkside. Aybar. I'll be around too many Dominicans.
We lied too.
Yeah, where are we right now?
We are in the Bronx. We can't give you
the details.
Yeah, we're beep, Bronx, New York.
Bronx, New York.
So a lot of people mess with your podcast episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Where can we get your book at?
On www.everything-aybar.com, or you could get it on Amazon. But if you get it on Amazon, you're not gonna get it signed by me. So I suggest you go to my website. Okay. It's gonna take a little longer, but you know what? As soon as you go to my website, you know what it says?
What's it?
A little goes a long way. So just wait a little. It goes a long way. It's called Fasting in Silence.
Oh, I like that.
I told you, bro, you don't respect me because you don't listen to the podcast. I then told you if you know what time it is.
That's gonna be my lessons for all the way to work.
Man, you need that. That's definitely in your rotation for the whole fall into winter, bro. How long have we known each other now? It's been about like 4, 5, 6 years now, right? A little bit like that.
Yeah, about like 4 or 5 years.
Okay. And when I met you, where were you at? So I think you just had crossed LSU.
Yeah, actually. So it's been a little less than 4 years. About to be 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about 416. But then I knew who you were prior to that. So it's like we seen each other on campus. We seen each other when I was on UB, when I went to Buff. So it's like I seen you prior to that, but then we was really cool after 416. We linked up. And it was love from there. It was
always.
Know that.
Always.
Brother man.
And you was really popping in your spaces. I don't think people give you a lot of credit for that because I seen it. Like, it was a smaller space, but you filled it up with a lot. And that was very interesting to me. Like, what was your experience like? Because I remember in my space, I felt like I was just the only one that's like trying to create something that they can't see, but giving them something that they could feel. So what it was that, like, what inspired me was prior to 416, right? So I was listening to the Tax Stone podcast. So shout out to Tax.
Free Tax. And so that really inspired me, and like in the space in which he was creating in. And so like my sister was big in that space. She still is. She's still doing her thing, and I love her to death. That's Chloe. So like listening to those people in those influential places was kind of like the inspiration behind the moves I should make. So then I gave myself a checklist. I was like, listen, I'm gonna make this happen before 30. Or I'm gonna make this happen, period. Like, these are my goals. So on my notes, I have it in my notes. I just cleaned out my notes yesterday. Actually, yesterday I was cleaning out my notes. This morning, to be honest. I was cleaning out my notes, and in my notes I had seen what I had written down before. So what I had written down was, I want to create a book. I want to write a book. I want to start my own business. I want to start my own podcast. And there was another thing. I want to create my own app, right? So that's kind of what inspired me at that time. It was what? Fall 16, we're talking about spring 16, early spring 16, going into spring 16, right? That time, it was like winter, I was in my bag, there's a lot going on. And so that gave me a lot of like the motivation. I was like, I want to make these things happen. And so little by little, I started progressing, and it was like, I got to develop my own brand. I got to develop my own personal brand. What does that mean? I've been doing my thing for a while. I've been creating my own brand, reinventing myself since I was 14, 13. But like, I've been gaining tools to make myself better as a better person, better person, better business. And so like, I had to figure out, okay, how do I make myself official? And so I was like, you know what? Built my own website, made my own logo, made my own brand. All the skill sets that I do have, I already do, and I focus in, but I did it for myself. And then I started making these things happen, making things possible. So that's kind of like what the inspiration was and how I kind of went about it. And I started kicking off a bunch of other things and connecting with other people. And I was having to put myself out there. Like, I was in Buffalo and I was like, okay, I ordered my business cards. You know, whether they weren't the best ones, I made them. But it put my name out there. I was in events and programs like, listen, when they give announcements, do any Greek organizations have announcements? Okay, any non-Greek affiliated organizations have announcements? I was one of the non-affiliated people standing up. Like, my name is Sean Marcano. I'm a graphic designer, brand strategist. I could do logos, marketing, advertising. I was putting myself out there.
You was self-promoting like a motherfucker.
Like a motherfucker.
That's dope.
Oh, everywhere.
That's fire. That's fire. So what is something that you realize? Oh, don't fumble that, my brother. If you need that, that's for you. I bought that here for you. What is something that you've learned during your process that you realized, especially about branding, was so important? Because like, outside of putting yourself out there, you can put yourself out there in a lot of ways.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one of the people, I just put myself out there and whatever hits. Because I want to figure out where my strength and where my weaknesses are. I'm not really afraid to handle those. So for you, what are some things that you learned during that process about like your own self-brand and putting yourself out there?
What's something I learned through my process? You're saying that influence,
like that moment. Like, yeah, what was it, something that you was picking up that you started connecting the dots on in that space?
Right. So what it was really the time management thing. Like, that was one of the biggest things. It was like, time is limited. I don't have enough time. You know, I do have a lot of time, but time is limited. So the time that I do have, I got to make an impact on that time that I do have, right? So it was like, I got to make every second, every minute, every hour count. Like, I felt, and I still deal with that to this day. And I don't think it's the most healthiest thing, but it's something that keeps me going, right? Like, I deal with a constant complex, a constant anxiety of like, I don't have enough time. I got to make things happen. When I don't do something, I feel like I'm wasting time. And when I feel like I'm wasting time, I get anxiety and it fucks me over. But like, what happens is like, it gives me the motivation to like take advantage of every minute, every hour of my day. Well, I try to become as efficient as possible. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that was the biggest takeaway that really made an impact on my personal branding.
No, I feel that. And one thing I could say what I saw from your personal brand was that like, you were always out there, but you was always like a distance to get in contact with. Like, I know I could get in contact with you, but you always kind of like, and I guess it makes sense now looking back at everything. Like, you was trying to control your time. So whatever energy you put out towards something, you try to make it as efficient as possible as at that time. And I think that's really because of what you were studying as well. Like, you was doing like all the communication and branding stuff. And I remember you was doing from the pen stuff at that time. And you was doing a lot of like the visual graphic gaming thing, animation thing. Yeah. Oh, bro, we gotta talk about that. So whatever happened to the first podcast we ever did? It's from the pen, but
from the pen, yeah.
We did something before that, didn't we? So I've been to this place. I've been to your house, I think, 3 times. The first time I came, your alarm brothers weren't there.
Right.
And I just
we were putting in work. I think it was like just talking like business stuff. But then we also did the podcast. I think that day. I think it was that day we did the podcast. We did from the pen. It was from the pen that we did.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever happens to that?
Yeah.
Man. So what from the pen was, it was one of the previous failures and L's that I'd had. And that's how I call it one of my failures, right? Like, it's not necessarily a failure because I learned from it. And that's kind of like the biggest thing is like, I needed to learn from it. And I have a couple of those. I have a couple L's that I've taken. And I feel like everybody should have a couple L's that they take.
What made from the L, from the pen?
L?
Yeah.
It was the inability to be consistent. Like, I wasn't able to be consistent with it. and I lost a desire and passion, and I also was trying to connect too many things in one place. So there was no focus. So it was like I had to learn. Okay, these are some of the takeaway points I learned from that L, right? So I needed to learn how to focus. I needed to learn how to hone in on like what exactly is like that focus is, right? Like the other thing was niching down, I guess, is another thing which I'm taking away now and what I'm doing now. And the next thing I would definitely say is, again, the consistency thing. Like I wasn't able to be consistent about it because the drive wasn't there.
So what about if the environment is not conducive for that consistency?
What do you mean?
So like in my space, like I have everything. So you for the most part know a good amount of stuff I have in the plans. Like from the early group chat days to like not so much the MC hosting thing, but you've always been well abreast in some of the stuff I'm doing because I kind of included you in some of it.
Right.
From like events and concepts or like little branding stuff or like little like group chat networking creative spaces, like stuff like you've been a part of a lot of them. So what if like that space where I was creating in has changed and this place I'm in now isn't conducive for the thing I'm still trying to create?
So say that question over again. Like not say it again.
I mean, I said it the way I said it. You get what I'm trying to say, but it's like if that space isn't created for growth, what if I cannot be able to grow there? That's basically what I'm saying.
You gotta leave. You gotta change that. Like if I can't grow there, it goes for everything. Like if I can't grow in a space, whether it be relationships, friendships, business, if I can't grow in it, what am I doing here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like your partner, I feel like your business or your space and what you do, like you should be able to grow from it or learn from something, or like it should be beneficial to you, not just you, but both people, like depending on the situation. But if you're not like answer your question, like if you can't go from it,
yeah, it's just
it's quiet. It's quiet.
Yeah. That's great. So at this point, you got from the pen, you taking out an L. You feel like it was just too much going on around you, too much that you just wasn't really feeling with that project.
Right.
Where did you end up going? So what came next?
So
because at that time you still was in school. Like I remember that we were finishing up. 'Cause I think were you a fifth year senior too?
Yeah, I was a fifth year senior.
So shout out to that fifth year, that 2016, 2017. Because you know that I get it. We both was there. So things started to happen. You wanted to pad the resume. You thought it was gonna make things a little easier. It didn't really make it that much easier, but you glad you did it. I get it.
Facts.
You know that. So at that space, you where you at now? You doing the school thing? You finishing up that?
Mm-hmm. So I'm closing out that L. I kind of was in a place of dealing with personal things. So it was kind of a place of I need to become a better person. I was also dealing with like relationship stuff. I was dealing with just a lot of life stuff, right? Like it's we all been through that shit. So it's like how it's tough. Like we're talking about that summer because that's what From the Pen was around, and then the semester kind of took over, right? So the semester took over, and
the hose pulled up.
Huh?
The hose pulled up. Just call it what it is, bro.
No, it wasn't even that. It was the time that I had allocated for that went elsewhere.
Oh yeah. You didn't think that these are some things started popping up that you didn't think you had to put your mind to.
Like I had to put my mind to other things. Like school took over.
You gotta start figuring out graduation. You gotta start finding jobs. You're getting older now, so certain things you can't do no more. Your classes are getting harder. You gotta start worrying about a whole lot. Your people's getting older. Things is getting a little tighter.
Right.
You gotta start planning for graduation when they come into town. I got you.
It was a matter of stuff that take precedence. Like that, I couldn't just put my time to that. And I started a lot of the things. Like what happened was during that time, I was up to like 3, 4 in the morning doing my personal stuff or along with school stuff. I think I was in the frat by this time. Yeah. So I was like doing frat things. Like it was just a lot of stuff going on at one time, and having to throw events, having to throw parties, like there was just a lot. Like my time was allocated elsewhere where it should have been focused there. And I've also at that time too, I kind of lost the passion for the game design sort of thing. Yeah. So because I needed to focus in, like it still was there, and that's kind of like what my senior project was based around. But I needed to focus around design, and so like I learned that a lot later down the line. But yeah, like I would say the time allocation wasn't there for that. Yeah.
So then what? So now you graduated, right? You come back home to your city.
Right.
You back in the Bronx. That's never like a easy thing to come back to, because that's where I'm at right now. I'm back in my own hood.
Right.
You've been here for a little while because you kind of just came back like suddenly after graduation.
Yeah.
Like I went to school and shit.
It was cool. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate. Nah, I had to, bro. That shit. I was like, stay here, do something. I knew you was gonna be able to get on by though, because I knew for at least for that first year while you was here, you're gonna take a lot of that time to focus in on doing the things you wanted to do. Like it wasn't like you didn't have reliable resources available. It wasn't like you didn't have some kind of form of support, either through a skill set that you had, through multiple traits that you had, through this branding that you were. So when you got back home, there was so many distractions.
There was a lot of distractions. It was just not just on the personal level. Again, dealing with the off and on of personal relationship shit, but it was also like I was dealing with the pressure, generational pressure. I was just talking to my sister about this, like generational pressure. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on our generation to not only reverse a lot of the bullshit that they like teach you and put on you, but like pressure to like do better, like save the world, be better, like have good credit, like be financially free, like don't get caught up in the traps that they got caught up. It's mad pressure. And like on top of that, they also put pressure on you of like, not just them, but like society kind of puts pressure on you of to be a certain person by this certain time, a certain level. And on top of that, like social media makes that even further emphasized, right? You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the biggest things I was dealing with. And it was like a lot of mental stress. Like I came back and I had this mentality of like, I got my degree, I'm gonna get my job, I'm gonna do this and a third. But it wasn't like that. It was a lot of application denied. It was mad denial. It was like I applied, before I got my first job, I had applied to over like 150 jobs.
Jesus Christ.
Indeed, LinkedIn, just spam my shit. And then finally got opportunity. I was a designer before I even got that position, I almost got scammed. Like,
word?
Yeah, almost got scammed for like a fake job opportunity. So that was a bag that I had to figure out like, what the fuck am I doing? But I didn't get caught up like completely. It was just...
you did your Googles. You did your Google.
Exactly. So I almost got caught up in that. And that's something our previous generation never taught us about, like never told you like how to get away with that or like how to figure that out. Or like so a lot of things I had to navigate through, right? So after that situation, I had first got my opportunity at they developed solar technology, solar
That's
panels,
fire.
stuff like
I
that.
hope you got equity in that bitch.
Nah. So I quit the job in a week.
Why?
Quit it. I had nothing lined up. Quit it in a week.
Why?
I can't fuck with it. I couldn't fuck with it.
Well, what about that company or that environment that you couldn't fuck with?
It was a lot of money in the space. Solar energy is very big, but I couldn't fuck with it for the fact that like I was only one person in a company that's 120 people deep, and I had to take requests from 4 or 5 different departments. On top of the fact the CEO and the people that were above me supervising me didn't know what the fuck they were doing. So I had no director, but they wanted me to like take orders. It was a lot of bullshit.
It was like a startup.
BC startup, really, startup. Like in between all the desks was like IKEA desks separating them. Like it was mad. They got money too quick, startup, and then there was no order. So I was like, fuck this, I'm out of here. I didn't go to school to be taking direction from somebody
who don't even know what the fuck going on. Yeah.
So want to continue with that part, or where that travel to?
Where you want to go?
So boom. After that, I was down and out for a good like 2-3 months. Had no job. Spoke to my pops who had a connection with a print shop, who I then got. Throughout this time, I was doing my own personal branding stuff. Of course. And, like, running my own agency.
Which is brilliant. Right. Which is so brilliant. Right. Did you LLC your shit?
Not yet. Soon.
Okay.
So then that developed into...
pancakes.
Oh, you're the best.
Who is women. I brought pancakes and women.
Hey, who's this pancake for, though?
How you doing?
Who's this pancake for?
We came to crush over here and light it up, and here we go.
That's fine. But whose pancake is this? Mine or his? It's yours. It's yours.
Nah, take that.
Nah. That's it for me?
That's you. It's for you.
Nah, don't give me the full experience. Nah, you can't hold my mic. This is my mic.
So you eat the pancake.
Oh my! You so kind. Thank you. So, this is heaven on earth. God bless you, Queen. Thank you so much for having. This is far as hell from my house, by the way. I'm in the Bronx.
From Staten Island.
Man,
so we'll continue with the story.
All right. So long story short.
Wait, what story are we
Continue your story.
So from after that situation, it was kind of like I was developing my own personal stuff. So.
What's your personal stuff?
My own personal branding stuff. So my own agency, getting my own clients, dealing with that. And that was kind of like helping keep me afloat. Because I quit my job without having anything backing me up. And I was like, fuck this, I'm not dealing with this. So I then got a position at a print shop. And then I was developing, getting mad skills. And I was getting like mentorship.
That's a big one right there. That's a good investment. You at that space, right? A lot going on, right? You trying to figure everything out. you all the expectations of what you were supposed to be as a man, right? At the age that you was at, you're feeling the pressures of it,
Right.
because now you're running a race against time that is really not the same type of time your parents was on.
Right.
So how do you handle that?
That shit was hard. Like, the reason why is because, like, I'm in a generation where I have to navigate that space on myself. And not, like, the parents that I had came from, like, the islands. So, like, they not really in tune with the same vibe that we from. Like, we had to navigate the spaces that they never been in. So it's like we raising ourselves in a certain point. It sounds weird, but, like, we raising ourselves and, like, a lot of people that were already in these spaces before, they didn't have to deal with that. I.e., like, white folks that came, already dealt with this shit, a lot of this shit. Like,
or just anybody who came as
just
an
came
adult with
exactly.
a good sense of self.
Right. So it's like I had to navigate that space by myself. So it's kind of like,
and you still got to deal with the stresses of your parents, but you also got the traumas of your parents, but the stresses of reality that you deal with now.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what happens? Heineken calls, right?
Oh, nah. So before Heineken happens, so what happened was I was working at the print shop, boom, dealing with that and developing my own personal shit. And then I winded up, I was like, yo, put my 2 weeks in, texted him. And I was like, I can't deal with this. I was like, I can't work with this place, blah, blah. And I was applying for other positions at the time. So I was like, you making me a manager. I'm also a designer. I'm also managing the store. You're not here majority of the time. I'm running this business for the past 4 months without you being here. And I'm doing this dolly.
And you getting paid nothing.
I'm getting paid nothing. Quit that job. I got a call. I got an interview from an agency. Boom. Got to connect. And then I winded up getting a job at Heineken. And then now I'm designing it.
How you liking Heineken, bro? Do you get the free Heineken products? That's the first question.
Yeah, so we got an open bar.
You mean drunk? He didn't know what type of towel. He didn't. Wait, queen.
A lot of pressure.
Mi amor. Bella. Yeah, you got it. Damn, that's the Bronx. That's why. Yo, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all will never get over the Bronx. I wanna rock you in my arms, baby. Let me show you. Oh, I hit that shit for like a week, and after I was like, nah, I can't do this shit ever.
That shit. Should you think about the Bronx?
Out.
Bronx
I was out shit, bro.
Oh my god. Get flow ni flow. So what happened?
I'm taking all my women with me. Bye.
Está bien.
We try to get the podcast going, and you was talking about you gotta get your man.
Está bien.
Yeah. Bye.
So,
That's why you want to go into the room.
So what happened was I got the job. I get free stuff. Yeah, they give gear. There's a lot of other companies that's part of that Heineken umbrella, and there's a lot of things I'm learning about. Like I'm navigating that flow, like in that space of like corporate, and we're a publicly traded company, and how I should interact in that space. I'm going through an agency, so it's some stuff I can't talk about and discuss. I'm part of an NDAs, but it's like I'm part of an agency. I'm contracted to them. And I have
you went through like a temp agency?
No.
Oh, okay.
So it's an agency that I work with, and they have an in-house team there. So we design for them, and like how I navigate in that space is a little tough because I need to know how to interact with certain people without discussing too much. But I also need to make an impact in that space so I can be recognized and also make an impact in that company. So it's tough. Like it's a very up and down situation. So I'm learning a lot as I go. And I'm the youngest person at Heineken right now in the building, I believe. Like, I don't think no one else is 24 or even at that age. I think the people on my team is 27, 28, 29, 28, 29, 31, around that age. I'm the youngest person there. So they've all have experience in agency stuff, but I managed to finesse and put in my hard work to get to that point. So it's just a lot of like learning, like every day is a learning process. I'm at meetings sometimes and I have to like, I'm learning as I go, but I pick it up quick and I'm able to make an impact at the company and I'm making recognition globally. Like people are seeing my work and getting we're getting the verification globally. So it's like, that's beautiful to see. And I'm 24. So it's like, it's only up from here. Yeah. I can't go back down.
That's a blessing, bro.
And on top of that, there's not many people of color in my space. Yeah. So one thing I just learned, I'm part of AIGA. It's like International Guild of Artists, right? Mm-hmm. They dropped a study done with Google Google put out a study, and I have the statistic on my phone, is that there's about 18% of designers I think it was like 18% of designers of Latino descent.
Mm-hmm.
I think 8 might be of African American descent, or is it around that space? Between
Crazy.
18 and 8, between Latinos and African Americans.
That's crazy.
Are between 18 to 8% of total, total population of them are designers, or like of designers, they're of Latino African American descent. And so like I feel like I'm like, and I put up on Twitter, and I put up that study on Twitter, and one of my boys, Dom from Buff, who was like, "Yo, you making space for people like you that you don't even know," and I didn't think about it. I was like, I'm making an impact, and I don't even see it, but I'm paving a way for people like us, like that want to pursue these paths, and that was my goal from the jump. But I didn't see it at that point because I'm so focused on I need design, I need to do this, I do my day-to-day work. But for somebody that I put in my stuff in my work, or like I talk about it, and they have an interest in it, or they know somebody has an interest in it, they can be like, yo, you can do it too, my boy does it. Or you can do it too, I know someone that does it. Or like, yeah, he did. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the beauty of it. And that's what I'm grateful to do every day, even though sometimes I don't think about it, but I'm just grateful to do it.
I feel that completely.
Yeah, man.
So now where we at? So you don't do From the Pen anymore.
Right.
You felt that was a big L. Obviously, you elevated in a decent space. That you could be able to have certain access to things that you've never seen before at a younger age. So when you get to like 50, bro, this shit that you're seeing now ain't nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing. Like I feel by 30, I'm trying to be a millionaire. And then that's a reach for itself, but it's not.
It's not. A million is what 1,000 was to us, to our parents. You feel me? Like 1,000.
Boom, right? So I thought growing up, after I got out of college, was like 50K. I'm gonna sound me good. No.
Nigga, I live in my mama's
60K,
basement,
70K, bro. No. I want to see 100K by 30. That's not even enough. Like, there's people that I'm meeting and I'm talking to, interacting with. They're making 250K a year. And a lot of them don't even know what the fuck they doing.
They don't. Finesse all the way to the top.
So it's like, I know what the fuck I'm doing. There's no reason why I shouldn't be up there making these, you know what I'm saying? Like, getting to that point. So it's a politics game. And that's one thing I'm learning. I'm trying to learn how to navigate, because I don't like to
play the politic game. And
I don't like to brown nose. I like to suck. You know what I'm saying? To none of that in order to get to where I need to get to, right?
Oh, you don't have to.
Right. So because where we from is like, I keep it a stack. I keep it a bundle from where I'm off rip.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's like, I gotta learn how to navigate the space, but I know I can get to these certain milestones, being real, being who I am, regardless of the politics game.
Of course. And you know what I'm learning too? It's not so much when. It's not if but when. So for me, everything I'm learning is not if but when, right? So what I'm learning now, especially in the spaces I'm in, is just learning, like learning who to be honest with and when.
Right.
Because everybody don't deserve your honesty. Everybody don't even deserve your time, your energy, nothing. Like, you could be doing a million other things right now, like you said. Like, all the other shit don't really matter. Like, so what I'm learning is like, yo, it's really picking and choosing what your energy is worth and what your time is worth.
I agree. And I had to learn that the hard way, because I was dealing with people that didn't even fuck with me. I was interacting with people
thinking that's your family, your friends, your brothers,
partners, people that, like, you don't give a fuck about me. Like, if you did, X, Y, and Z would have happened, or X, Y, Z would have been handled and dealt with. Like, and that's just on that spectrum. But on another side, on the other side of the coin is, I really just had to know that the people that I was around were really there for me. And that was one of the tough things I've always had to deal with. Is like, I provide a certain value in life, and I felt that people that were around me wanted to take advantage of that. So I had to surround myself with people that brought the same value that I bring to the table. And I don't come to the table unless they bring something to the table. And not on some use case, but on some, what are we discussing and talking for if we can't better each other, or you can't better me? I can't even interact with you. Like, what are we wasting? We wasting time. You know what I'm saying? And it sounds fucked up, but I can't move up. I can't grow if you can't help me grow.
That's a fact.
So,
I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I feel that completely. Okay. So now what? Where are you at right now? You said that you don't do the From the Pen no more. So what are you doing now? What's the pod that you on now?
So my baby project right now, and it's kind of what's surrounding my marketing strategy right now, is strategy snacks. So Strategy Snacks is my podcast where I focus on a strategy snack, right? So the entire podcast is providing value in terms of marketing, design, advertisement. And because that's the space what I focus in and what I learn and what I study, what I read on, I want to be able to provide that value to other people. And that's as well as like position myself as an expert in my space. So I don't see people in my space like me. So I'm gonna make my impact and put myself in that position to be that impact in that space for other people that are of the same kin.
kind of vibes,
Exactly.
whatever, yeah.
So that's what I want to aspire to do. And I'm surrounding my entire marketing strategy behind Strategy Snacks. On top of that, the key takeaway of Strategy Snacks is a strategy snack. So what a strategy snack is the strategy or a key like
a gem.
Key gem, right? That can be a takeaway from somebody in the episode. Like, oh, that's what helps you. That's what strategy that you run in your business, right? So, I mean, I want to just provide a key takeaway in every episode and when I interview other people as well, is like, I want you to provide your value. Like, what's your gem that you're going to drop on this episode that you want people to take away from? And you want them to like make an impact in their business or like to use to help them in their marketing or their strategy, right? Like, there's a lot to that strategy word that people like spit out and say, but there's a lot more to it than just, than what comes with it.
That's fire because I got a deli now. And if you really want to be technical, all I do every day, like people be sitting down like asking like, yo, what have you been up to, Cletus? Like, what have you been doing? Like, you don't see me doing parties like that no more.
Right.
You don't really see me even talking about parties like that.
Nah.
Like after like I got to my accident and then my friend passed, rest in peace, my bro Dante Heath, my fucking brother. After that, I was like, bro, what really matters? Like, I should never get hit up. Like, I should never get hit up after someone passes and they tell me the first thing, like, damn, bro, what happened? Like, what happened? Nigga's dead. That's what happened. He died. Right. He got killed. Like, how it happened? Why? Me speaking about it ain't gonna help the situation.
I feel you.
So, it's like, it's this little shit I'm picking up. Like, it's never like, the people that's like, yo, I'm so sorry for your loss. Like, that's the people who have compassion in their heart. Because they really mean it. They sorry that something like that you had to go through. Like, because you're not going to make it a statement if it ain't a statement. You ain't going to waste your data. You ain't going to waste your Wi-Fi for that. If it ain't worth talking about, why the fuck you talking about it? So, yeah, bro, it's a lot of madness out there. So I get you completely. So now with Strategy Snacks, what's the overall goal? What's the major impact that you wanted to have moving forward?
My long-term goal?
Yeah.
So what I want that to do is position myself to be in a place where I can develop and write my own book. So,
but you could do that now.
I could, but I want to put myself in a place where I'm recognized and known
as an academic,
and be a teacher and be an influencer in that space, in the marketing design space, and then be able to position my book in a higher place than where I could just write it out now.
Textbook shit. I need that school bag.
Exactly.
I get that.
Exactly. And that's a big bag right there. And I'm not doing it for the bread. I've always wanted to do this. You can look up my old tweets from 2016, 2015. Before that, I always tell people like, I don't want to be the gatekeeper of opportunity. I want to be the person that provides opportunity.
And let's talk about that because this weekend there was a couple of things going on. It was Howard Homecoming. There was Culture Con. There was a lot of things I seen, and I'm like, yo, I'm not involved in any of these things, and I'm in a space where I think it'd only be right that I could only add to it.
Right.
And I'm not talking about as like a consumer of the product. I'm talking about as someone who can help align myself with it. And what I'm starting to see is like, yo, a lot of these people in these spaces is kind of developing a boys club. And it's not a lit boys club. It's not like a party I even want to be at. But it's kind of like I kind of have to be there because it's like, I know for a fact that even with my raw shit like this, I'm competing. And I'm years behind.
Right.
But it's like they not connecting the dots, and it's like how much like how you said, I'm not about to suck. I'm not about to none of that for a space. I see that table that I know I already bought on created.
Oh, that you can provide value to, and that's I learned that young during the time from the pen thing is one thing I learned that at that stage was like I see this little click, I see this creative click. And I'm not about to be a part of this. I'm not about to be a part of this little like thing right here because it's like you guys are only fucking with each other because of the
aesthetic of
whatever they bring to you do your podcast, or you gotta link, or you do this and the third, or we got like, or they will only do events or things or connects with those people. So when a person that provides a value and comes to the table, and which I've tried and linked up with people like, oh, be on this podcast. This is what I do in third. But then somebody else comes to the table.
The same shit that you're doing.
And not even up to the same caliber, and they're able to speak on a certain topic.
Build. Oh my God, yeah.
No. I'm saying like there's people that, for example, I'm a designer, and let's say I provide a certain value, a certain caliber, I do a certain thing, right? And I've seen people, I asked to be on certain podcasts or speak to certain people, and they're like, oh well, this and the thing, like give me the workaround, right? The runaround. And then weeks later, I see somebody similar profession on the same thing, but they're not the same page, same level. But the only reason they fuck with them is because they're in the same circles. So it's like, you guys don't really care about the knowledge or the information that you're trying to provide to people. And it's evident, because if it was, you really were trying to be, provide this value that you so-called say that you are, or to make your audience more knowledgeable, I would have been there. Because I know what I bring to the table. You know what I bring to the table. People know what I bring to the table. But you only fucking with these people because they're in your circles. So it's a lot of like, knocking
on doors.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you say that, because I think even in those spaces, that's very hard to do. Because like I said, this goes back to what I asked. What if those environments are not where you are now is not conducive for those?
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm tight. You guys being tight. So what you asking is, what do you repeat that question?
I just basically said, to reiterate, it's like, okay, you got the talent, you got the ability, you're not at the spaces. Yeah. Now what? What you gonna do? You're knocking on doors with them doors not opening.
So that's one of the biggest things that happen. Live podcasts. My fault. Let me just write this down so I could just turn this on for you. Live podcasts.
Oh man, he trying to brand talk, ain't you? Y'all didn't know these were live though. A lot of these are live. A lot of these are either really super duper live, or they're like stories that had happened like years in advance. Like a lot of the episodes I'm putting out are like old episodes.
I love them.
The old ones where
I love that because it's about documenting and putting stuff out. But you say the question you said again was,
what if the gatekeeper, like not even the gatekeepers, because I don't even like calling people gatekeepers, bro, because they don't really control anything. All they do is block knowledge. That's the only gatekeeper that they do. They really block knowledge and connections to other people because they put value on it. But in reality, like, people see it, bro. Like, the brand speaks for itself. The spaces speak for itself.
Exactly.
You don't really have to really knock on nobody. It's like everybody ain't supposed to be a part of every frat.
I feel you.
Everybody ain't supposed to go through that process because everybody don't need to. Maybe you don't need to let it step out. You lit by yourself. Know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe you lit and want to just fuck with it because you just want to fuck with it.
Right.
Like, but with everything, I'm seeing a lot of these spaces that's for creators, especially in New York City. A lot of motherfuckers not even from New York City. Then the other thing is they're only lit in social spaces, and for the most part, people who are usually lit in social spaces aren't lit anywhere else outside of the social spaces.
That circle, yeah.
And if you only lit on social spaces, that means you probably have the assets, the resources to only do that. Exactly. Like, niggas like me, my people's never had me on a computer like that. I had to sneak.
Right.
I had to handle everything else just to get on the computer. So it was like, I look at a lot of people's work. I'm not knocking it. I think it's dope. I just think that if you really about fucking with niggas who are creating shit that's dope as hell, like really being like the next trailblazers and really being silent about it, but amazing, then fuck with niggas. If you're not, then it's kind of like, yo, I will pay absolutely no attention. And that's the beauty of micro influencers. A lot of motherfuckers are trying to be like these macro influencers. They try to be lit on these like social spaces that's like little ass kids and weirdos and shit that fuck with them. Nah, I'm talking.
And there's a point to that. So there's a impact on being a micro influencer, and like I can say that now because Heineken does take advantage of micro influencers, and they're important. They're important to the space, right? Because they have more regional and local influence than, say, I don't know, you're a
Rolling Loud.
Not just that, but like a bigger name, right? Like they have more of a local influence, right? So say, I don't know, your friend Tony or something like that is a micro influencer, right? He has more impact in that space because people are more willing to take his advice or
pay attention
to follow him or pay attention to him because they're more attached to him because they know him on a certain level, right? Versus it being a bigger influencer. And I've been at these tables where people discuss having micro influencers or having these big influencers at certain events or discussing them taking part on future plans for, you know what I'm saying? So there's a power being a micro-influencer, and people have to know that, like, it's okay. Like, if you the 14K follower, there's still a table. There's still your name can be brought up at the table.
8K.
If there's a 10K, 12K, there's still a place that you're at the table. Your name can still pop up. Not maybe for every event, but for certain, you know, activations or brand activations, your name can be brought to the table.
So with your services, how do you make those people? You know, how do you take care of those people? Because I know with your branding and stuff like that, you are expensive. You're an investment, but I don't think it's that big of an investment in terms of what you're really trying to quantify and do for people.
So I remember before you got cut off, you were saying you see my website when you first. Yep. It was what?
Oh, you first was in the building stages, early.
Yeah, and you seen what price did you see?
The prices was high, bro.
Price was high.
A couple to 5,000, 50,000.
Exactly. So I'm trying to be.
I looked at that man like, shit.
Exactly. And so now it's important that we do that. I feel like I was being realistic. I am realistic in my pricing, and so I also wanted to separate myself. I'm not your everyday designer. I don't. You ever make this fly for me? Do this on the third. I don't do that. I don't.
Like I said, water the water. I don't do that.
Nah, I did have the strength because you family, but it's like there's some projects I don't need to associate my name with. Like I don't need to put my name on every corner of every flyer. No, you lower in reality. You might lower your price. You might lower your value by doing certain things like that. I only want to affiliate my name with people that provide value that I can bring to the table. So when my name comes up, I want to be named with X, Y, and Z people. And not to say that I see myself in a certain light, but it's like, it's the reality of the fact. Like, certain people won't do work with you or collaborate with you because you're so below them. It seems very classist.
The collaborations you're doing don't even benefit you or them. It's not impressive.
Right. So again, I want to affiliate my name and associate my name with a certain price point. And I only want to deal with hot leads. And what the hot leads is a person that's more willing to spend money on you or with you. So I want to spend my time, my valuable time that could be spending with family and friends, which I'm doing now. But it's like, I want to, when I do invest my time with business, I want to be affiliated with people that are willing to, I want to handle this. I want to do this right now. Or that are able to talk in that price point. Or you talking a couple thousand, let's talk. Oh, you talking? Yeah. You want to do a logo for 200? We can't discuss that.
Nah,
don't even. I know some people. I know some people could do it for you.
That's a great price. That's still expensive for some niggas.
That's
like
nothing.
Nothing.
There's people charging. You want to know how much the rebrand for? Who just did it? Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, how much?
The entire rebrand.
Yeah.
Guess.
2.5 mil.
A little above that.
Above that?
Above that.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right. We can discuss it. We can talk about it.
Y'all better cold, Mr. You know the face, you know the name. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Man, y'all better hit me up today. But you know what? I think that's a testament to having good teammates, good alliances, and being able to get into spaces that usually, traditionally, people like us don't fall into. Like, but that's what's gonna make you special because you're already finding ways into those spaces. Like me myself, I'm learning like politics now. I'm learning community outreach shit now.
Right.
I'm learning things that it's not so much I don't appreciate and I don't respect, but I'm young. You know what I'm saying? This is the stuff like your parents make you go to church on Sunday to meet the pastor and the wife and everybody, and they probably gonna give you a scholarship before you go to college, but you don't really care because you could be at the brunch or you could be watching cartoons. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm in that space right now. So where are you at right now? Where are you at mentally, spiritually, and physically?
I'm in a place of I'm a work in progress. I would say that I'm a work in progress. I'm still learning. I'm still investing in myself to like become a better person. I'm trying to again position myself. I'm trying to pivot in position. So I'm trying to embrace
#pivot in position.
Pivot in position. So I'm trying to embrace certain things, certain events, certain moments, and I'm trying to pivot in a certain place where it's like, this is me. This is what I do. This is what I can provide. This is what I can. This is my value, right? And I'm trying to position in my space of an expert. So it's like, in total, I'm work in progress across the board. Whether it be in personal, spiritually, financially, I'm a work in progress.
How are you dealing with like being back home and finding not so much like not love, but connecting yourself with like partners who help elevate your profile? Because since I've been back home, bro, that's been like the hardest part. Like I do a lot of hours in the store. I'm doing everything I think would be acceptable as a young man to do for his and his own.
Right.
But when it comes to finding women or like just women that could build with me on that same plateau. That shit is MIA, and I'm back in my hood.
No, it's tough.
So you got to think about what you really seeing every day.
So so I provide this like little quote, right? Like to some people whenever they come to me for advice, right? Like, what are you doing differently? So before I even jump to that point, my cousin during New Year's, that same or a little bit after New Year's, she called me up and she was like, I'm like, what's up, cuz? What happened? Like, what's going on? Last time you called me, it was like a major thing that happened. Mm-hmm. But she contacted me and she was like, no, I'm just checking up on you. And I was like, oh, it's lit. Like, I love you. Like, I appreciate that. And I'm like, what's up? Like, what caused this? And she goes, oh, you need to do things different. If you want different results, you got to do things differently that you've never done before.
That's a fact.
So she's trying to become a better person in her space. And that quote has been the impact of my year, has been the gem of my year. If I want to have different results, I need to do things differently than I've never done before.
That's a fact.
Right? So I say that to say this. To answer your point, which was to finding a partner in that space, I provide this little gem to other people is like, what are you doing differently? If you're quote unquote type, if every person that you've dealt with or been with has been in the same place, every time you bag somebody is off of Twitter or from some event, that clearly doesn't work. Mm-hmm. I'm not to say that all your shots, maybe a shot might make it, but like,
shoot.
If that's not cutting it, do something different. So then I ask this question, and as a follow up, is like, what's your interest? Mm-hmm. All right, you like to, I don't know, on the side, you like to, I don't know. Listen,
watch Joe Budden podcast. Watch a bunch of podcasts. You like go volunteer.
Give me another hobby.
You're a vegan now. You like vegan cooking.
You're vegan cooking. Have you?
I go to African dance studio. Dance things. I dance with Holy Boy. So shout out to my bro Holy Boy.
Right. So you like vegan cooking, right? Mm-hmm. So have you gone to an event where they cook vegan food, or have you gone to a vegan restaurant? Mm-hmm. Like, where's your partner at in these places that you like to do or like to be in, right? If you like to rock climb, do you rock climb? Have you spoken to people that rock climb?
Yeah.
Like, maybe you might find a partner in that space. So again, that leads me to my next point, is to navigate that space in a relationship situation where it's like, I want to find somebody that is of the same value or provides the same, value that I bring to the table. Is where are you searching?
Yeah.
And start there. Let's go to that base point. Where are you searching? Where are you looking at? What are your interests? And then why don't you search? Have you ever searched in your interest space?
Immaculate. That's a beautiful gem. You're right though. So what's your answer to that question? When you do a self-assessment of your company?
Of my company? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of pre-qualifications. So I'm very picky.
As you should.
I'm very picky.
Aren't you an Aries too?
No, I'm a Taurus.
You're a Taurus?
Yeah, right there.
When your birthday?
May 6th.
May 6th. I'm the April 16th.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you was like the 19th.
Nah, right there. Right.
Yeah, you're on the cusp. See, I felt the April 19th. That's why I was like, okay, that's my brother right there. He on that same type. I was like, okay.
I'm a Taurus.
Okay.
So there's a lot of pre-qualifications. So I'm very picky. Like, and some people might say, why you being so picky? Why? Like,
are you picky with the women that you choose to build with, or are you picky with just people you sleep with? That's a different kind of picky.
I feel you. I'm picky with both.
There you go.
I'm picky with both. Sometimes I'd be like, fuck it. But we human, right? But when it comes to building, I'm very picky.
As you should be.
And this leads back to my old point. Like, I was dealing with a situation with an ex long time ago. It was like coming out of like high school. And I was dealing with this whole shit. I'm mad young. But this older lady, which was my aunt's friend at the time, she spit a gem on me. And she was like, do you see, and she told me a whole story involving herself, but she asked me, do you see this partner as the future mother of your kids?
Of course not.
And do you see, or even the other way around, is do you see yourself, do you see your future daughter being like the person that you're having a kid with? And do you see your future son being with a woman like her? So then I ask myself that question. I even tell people too, like, when you navigate in the space of like, you arguing in a toxic situation, do you see, now I ask this question too, like, people be in relationships 6-7 years. I love him, blah, blah, I love her. All right, do you see your future kid being with her?
Do you want your son to be like this little nigga? All right.
Right. Do you see like your son being like him? Nah. Do you see your future daughter being with him? So why are you dealing with him?
No.
Or even the other way around is if I'm talking about men, do you see your son being like her? And that's what I'm talking about, bros. Like keep it a bean. Let's talk. Like, do you see a future daughter being like her? Do you see a future son? And it's a serious question. And then something like, I didn't even think about all that, blah, blah, you going too deep. Well, why are you in a relationship for? What are we really here for? For all of that, we could just been fucking around and call it what it is. Call it spade a spade.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Like, a relationship ends in two ways. Either we stop talking or we being together forever.
That's a fact. That's real shit. That's real shit, bro. Is there anything else you want to speak about?
That I want to speak about?
Yeah.
I don't know. We touched on a lot. We touched on the personal.
I mean,
talking the business.
Definitely gotta do the part 2. Definitely, I might have to hit you up. I might need an assessment on my shit, and I might need an assessment on my company. No cap, because I think I got like one final question. What was it like working with me for Wine on the Water?
It was interesting because I don't think you ever worked with me on a business standpoint. So when it comes to a business, it's a different Sean. Like, I separate personal, so it was interesting to deal with that. So it's like, we never worked with each other on a business standpoint, and navigating that space while we were discussing business. I was trying because I don't like doing business with friends, because I don't like to merge that thing, even friends and family, because I don't like to that when it comes to money, friends, things to get iffy with some people. So it was interesting. It worked smoothly. I mean, what happened, right? But it was just interesting to deal with. So I mean, it was just
good or bad?
Nah, it was successful. It is what it is. So it's like, it was successful. I mean, could we have done more? Of course.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Could I have gone even further? Could I had a bigger budget? Like, of course, things would have been there, but like for what it was, what it asked for, what the request was, what the budget was, I mean, it happened what had to happen.
I thought everything was worked out the way it's supposed to work out.
It was real smooth.
Ooh, it was hell. That shit was hell.
Yeah, no, it was smooth.
All right, bro. People want to find you, consult with you, etc., etc. Where can they go?
I mean, you can follow me on all social media. Sean, that's SEAN, X, as the letter X, Marcano,
Man,
MAR.
get that Bronx out of your name. What's wrong with
I was
you?
like, you know, you look the bar, the X. So Sean X Marcano. So MARCANO. You can find me on everything. If you're really serious, connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Sean Marcano. And that's if you're really serious about your business.
That's a fact, okay.
Otherwise, Sean X Marcano, all platforms. You can find my website, Sean Marcano. My agency is markedupagency.com.
Fire.
If you want any details, want to consult with me, want to do anything about business, reach out to me. I'm open leads. We can talk about it.
Fire. All right, we gotta go because I know you're hungry and I know it's getting late and everything. So y'all tuned in to Talk Ain't Cheap podcast. Y'all know the face, y'all know the name. Thank you for all the support. I hope you guys got the gems from this. I hope that we could come to a place that we can start to both utilizing our gems, if not on whatever, on your strategic snacks.
Right.
And you know, find my gems and Talk Ain't Cheap. So that's just what it is. But I appreciate you always. Shout out to Linda. Shout out to Aybar. I'll be scared. I'll say that shit right, but I'm gonna get there. But make sure y'all support her. Make sure I think her book is about to release soon, so we gotta go. But yeah, y'all tuned in to Talk Ain't Cheap. Y'all know the face, y'all know the name, and y'all know what Talk Ain't Cheap is usually not that deep. It's a vibe.